How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. We just got some pretty huge news last night that we need to cover. It is crypto related and it shows you where the big players are coming in, what they're so focused on, and that liquidity is actually going up. We also have some interesting data showing the sidelined money and whether it's flowing into assets yet, risk assets. Also, we had one of the best weeks in recent history for the Bitcoin ETFs, yet Bitcoin is falling here today. We'll talk about that too. If you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn on the bell notification underneath the video so you can see future videos just like this. Also, be on the lookout. I am going to be posting a Michael Saylor interview where he answers a ton of questions that a lot of newer investors have. I'll be posting that a little bit later today, so be on the lookout for that. Also, if you want to trade cryptocurrency, check out the link underneath the video to Margex. Here's a position that I opened, and I opened it on 20x with Solana as collateral, but I'm trading Bitcoin. Since then, Bitcoin's up about 13%, so I'm up about 260%, but Solana is actually up more than that. It's up about 20%, 22% in that time. So this trade has performed beautifully for me because I had the 260% return, but it's 260% on the original collateral, which has also gone up 20%. So I have an insane return. We're talking about more like a 300% return in US dollar terms. So if you want to trade something like this, or if you want to trade like this, there's a link to Margex underneath the video. They're the only place I know that allows you to use different forms of collateral like this on trades. So definitely check that out underneath the video. There's also a link to BTCC. These are my two favorite exchanges right now. BTCC allows you to trade hundreds and hundreds of different cryptos. So if you want really deep liquidity, if you want a bunch of other cryptos that you can trade, like I have Core in my portfolio, this is one of my larger holdings. If you want to trade that on leverage, you can go up to 250x leverage on BTCC. Both of these allow you to do this without using a VPN, and they don't KYC. So check out those links underneath the video. Let's start here. Bitcoin falling. You could actually see Bitcoin dominance falling as well from 59% down to 58.4. We did actually have some alts running. Let's check on that right now, because with Bitcoin falling, a lot of the time we do see alts start to fall too. Solana did go up to about 160 the last time I checked, 165 actually. And now, yeah, it's fallen from 171 down to 160 as Bitcoin's falling as well. Now, Solana still looks pretty bullish, bouncing off of that support there, the previous resistance. Bitcoin falling down below this trend line. We'll have to see. Does it gain strength? We do oftentimes actually see this on the first of the week. When people think the inflows are coming in, someone dumps a bunch of Bitcoin, forces it down, and then we grind up the rest of the week. So I would not be surprised if we had a little bit more volatility, but then saw an uptick for the rest of the week. At least that's what happened. That's what's happened recently. You can see the traditional markets aren't really moving too much. We do have a big week, though, as we do have a lot of earnings. Take a look at this. Today, there's not much going on, but tomorrow we have Verizon, GM, 3M, Enphase, Texas Instruments, and then we get into the big day Wednesday. Tesla announces earnings after the market closes. IBM before the market opens. Even we have AT&T, Coca-Cola, Boeing. So a lot of things that could change up the market. A lot of earnings calls where people will be looking at how these companies feel about the consumer, how they feel about rising prices, all that kind of thing, the higher rate environment. Then we have UPS. People look at these kinds of delivery companies. It gives us an indication as to how much people are buying. And Southwest American Airlines. Keep in mind, next week we do have a lot of companies that are in the tech space that are going to be announcing earnings as well. So a lot going on here over the next couple weeks with earnings, so be dialed into that. A lot of people will be watching that. We are approaching the banana zone. Everyone wants to hear that. Everyone wants to see that. And as you can tell by this very scientific chart, it's coming. I'm joking here because it's just the boring zone and then the banana zone. You know, when we approach all-time highs, at least when we're up multiples from the bottom, we kind of have this sideways chop area. and then we typically go parabolic. We've had this sideways chop area around the prior all-time highs. You would expect us to go parabolic here soon. And M2 money supply is moving up, as we can see here. It is relatively close to the peak of 2022, right? The beginning of 2022. But we are in an uptrending environment for M2 money supply, which is typically good for risk on assets. Keep in mind, Bitcoin was only 6% away from all-time highs. It just hit, keep in mind, it just hit 69.5 today. So it was very close to all-time highs. Ethereum is 43% away from all-time highs, Solana 36%, XRP 83%, Dogecoin 80%, Cardano 88%, Chainlink 77%, VeChain 91%, Gala 97%. Let me know in the comment section which you think is the best risk to reward ratio at this point in the market. This is big news. Stripe acquires stablecoin platform Bridge for $1.1 billion in crypto's largest acquisition. So payment company Stripe acquired stablecoin platform Bridge in a $1.1 billion deal. Now, I'll be honest, I have heard of Bridge before, but I wouldn't have been able to tell you what they did up until this point. But they allow people to, or they offer software that helps businesses accept payments in stablecoin and signals an expansion of Stripe's crypto adoption efforts. Mark, another company that is getting big into the crypto space that is a payment provider or payment processor that wants to be able to accept crypto. We've heard from Visa, MasterCard, those companies diving into crypto a bit as time goes on, but I'm not sure we've seen something like this. Right? This is the largest crypto buy that we've ever seen, $1.1 billion. Keep in mind, this is relatively recently after Bridge raised $58 million and was valued at $200 million. Look at this. Bridge fundraising for stablecoin-based payment network totals $58 million. Bridge, founded by Square and Coinbase alumni, recently raised $40 million in a round led by Sequoia and Ribbit. I'm not sure exactly when this happened. Looks like the Friday before this article, and this is just like at the end of August of this year. So we're talking about 2 months ago. They're being valued at $200 million. And now they've sold for 1.1 billion. I mean, that tells you they are coming at this in a position of strength. Like they're not begging Stripe to come buy them. They realize that they're probably gonna blow up this next bull run, and they just sold at 5.5 times what they just were valued at. That is absolutely insane, and this is really good for crypto, in my opinion. This helps us because this gets more money behind these companies to push this kind of product adoption, right? Would you rather have a company that has $10 in their bank account to try to fight for you, or a company that's worth tens of billions of dollars? They're probably going to get a lot more done. They're going to put a lot more manpower behind their products and development, and they're going to be a lot more places that accept stablecoin. There's more flow of money into stablecoins. There's more flow of money into cryptocurrencies. There are more people watching. There are more people giving these kinds of entrepreneurs exits, which means that they have more money to maybe throw at the market. This kind of stuff continues to circulate money within crypto and can be quite beneficial to crypto prices, in my opinion. Now, keep in mind, a lot of people are thinking, well, who's going to buy Bitcoin at 70,000, 80,000? They've been able to buy for 15 years underneath these prices. But Thomas from Hey Apollo reminds us, higher prices unlocks more capital. The nimble ones are buying now, but the bulk of pension funds will see Bitcoin as investable when it has a market cap 5 to 10 times its current value. Right? They're not trying to go out and buy $10 billion worth of Bitcoin and shoot up the price 30%. No, they want to be able to buy into a mature asset class that doesn't have a lot of questions left unanswered. They want to buy when Bitcoin's at $5-10 trillion like they do with Bitcoin. They're not trying to get, or like they do with gold. They're not trying to necessarily get a 50% return with a bunch of volatility. No, they would like a 5 to 10% return with less volatility, where they can go and diversify their portfolios a bit. Most sovereigns will come even later than this. Germany, for example, will buy Bitcoin when Bitcoin is worth millions. I've said this before, that I think there are some institutions, there are some individuals, there are some investors that just don't want to buy an asset when it's too small. There's too much volatility. Even if it outperforms, there's just too much risk, especially when you're managing other people's money and you have to answer to them, right? I get where people come from, that they don't want to be answering questions when Bitcoin's down 60% as to why they put money in there. Even if it's not a sizable amount of the portfolio, they're still going to have questions and people are still going to be pissed off. So I think this is going to be bullish. As we continue to get bigger, we're going to continue to unlock more and more capital. And that's already kind of happened with options being allowed on Bitcoin. You think that would happen if Bitcoin was a $10 billion asset class? No, it happens because we're $1 trillion and more money wants to flow in and more money wants options, right? So it is kind of interesting how this develops over time. We're seeing in real time an asset class be developed over just a number of years. A roaring stock market, nor a 50 basis point rate cut has been enough to coax investors out of cash as money market funds remain at peak levels of $6.4 trillion. Probably when rates get below 3%, that may do the trick, but to be honest, it's a bit baffling that some hasn't left the sidelines yet. So we have still money market assets continuing to move up, SPY continuing to hit new highs, rates coming down, and yet there's still a lot of money on the sidelines. Now, I still have some money on the sidelines, actually in money market funds as well. But that's because it's a percentage that I like to keep in cash for either expenses or for an opportunity fund. I already have allocated so much to crypto that I'm just sitting on my money market funds. And I get some other people may want to do this too. Mine's more of an opportunity fund than me being, I'm not like 40% cash waiting for some kind of major downturn. But I think as time goes on, the people that are sitting in a bunch of cash waiting for a downturn are just getting yield. You know, the really wealthy people, they're like, well, I have $10 million at the bank. I have $10 million in stocks. I have $10 million in real estate. I'll just live off the $10 million in the bank. I'm getting 450 grand a year. I'll just live off that. There are going to be less and less people that can do that. So then they'll go look for yield or some kind of asymmetric upside. And then they'll come into crypto because they'll probably FOMO when Bitcoin's hitting 100,000. I saw a video, and I don't really like to show these videos because I think sometimes they're manipulated. But I saw a video of someone going around and asking people, saying that they would pay them if they knew what price Bitcoin was at. And again, I don't really like to show it because I think you can cut it to make it look like we're so early, no one knows the price of Bitcoin. But I got the sense that really this wasn't cut too much. And people really, outside of our bubble, don't know the price of Bitcoin. That'd be an interesting thing. If you have the courage to do it, ask someone at, I don't know, a rock climbing gym or your normal gym or at school or something. Ask them if they know what the price of Bitcoin is. I bet you they have no real idea. Now, moving on. Last week, we saw the biggest 7-day inflow into global Bitcoin ETPs since March. 34K Bitcoin, 34,000 Bitcoin. Now, these ETPs hold 1.1 million Bitcoin. Over 5% of all the Bitcoin that will ever be mined. Keep in mind, this is what moves markets, right? These kinds of massive weeks can push up the Bitcoin price pretty quickly. Now, it'll be interesting to watch what's happening today. You know, is this just some whales manipulating, trying to force down the price, liquidate some longs, and then we continue moving right back up? Or was this what all the shorts were waiting for? I would love to see a break over 70,000. Keep in mind there may be some volatility before then though. Again, if you want to trade, check out the links underneath the video to Margex and BTCC. Let me know your thoughts on all this underneath the video. I am quite bullish on Bitcoin. If you didn't see my video yesterday, I give you some of the reasons why that is. So definitely check out this video right up here. Appreciate it. See you in the next one. Bye.